Hey guys, Magnus here bringing you another video. This one we're going to be doing a video talking about my top 10 worst buildings. So this is a really, this is a really subjective list. It really comes down to people's opinions on looks, because I really am just going to take in consideration looks for the most part, but I will be taking into consideration price for a few of them, and we'll get into them obviously later. I have a few dishonorable mentions first. I just want to say I'm not putting the Hypnotist 10 on the list whatsoever, not even on the dishonorable mentions, because I think it was eventually made Doughnuts, so I'm not gonna bash it for that, and I quite like it. So yeah. But I do have some dishonorable mentions first. But yeah, if you guys haven't been noticing, I've been showing off people's town designs from the Discord. If you guys want to have one of your designs featured, please do go to the town designs chat in my Discord channel and leave the town design. But anyway, let's get into the list with some dishonorable mentions. So the first one goes to the cartoon set. So yeah, I wasn't massively thrilled with the cartoon set. I think it's the building that came with Scratchy, and I really think that it wasn't a particularly great film to come. A particularly great building to come with Scratchy. I think they could have had way better ones, and I just didn't really like this one. Coming with Scratchy, it just didn't really. Wasn't really that overwhelming. Plus, we've got something similar to this before. We obviously have the movie set with McBain. There's another little I think there's two movie sets, isn't there? I'm pretty sure there's another one. I think this is the third one, and it's just something we've seen before. So nothing I'm particularly that interested in. I just don't think it was it's a hard building to place because it's like an open building, if you know what I mean. I'm not really a fan of these kind of buildings. My second dishonorable mention goes to the Tasters Springfield Festival. Of course, this was just a bunch of I wasn't really too thrilled with this. I think they could have given us them individually, the little stalls. I think it is a bit it's bundled up a bit too much. It's a little bit hard to decorate, in my opinion. And it was kind of a crappy final prize. It wasn't the best building. It was a pretty poor building. So, yeah, I just put it on the dishonorable mention list. But I didn't hate it that much, so I not enough to put it on the list. Next up goes to the Water Baron Burns Mansion. So Spring King, I was originally number 10. Well, I was originally number 10, and then I reorganized the list, and I ended up actually kicking it off the list. So it's a close 11, I would say, Water Baron Burns Mansion, but it didn't quite make the list. I don't really like this because I think it should have been a skin. And I know that people aren't really too thrilled with building skins, but I want the game to be consistent. I really like consistency, so if there's going to be some building skins in the game, I want every other building skin that's available to be available, which is a little hypocritical because I let the Family Moe's restaurant, I let that one off, but whatever. I don't hate it too much, so I didn't put it on the number 10. But yeah, you can do some really cool designs with it, as Spring King showed. And then finally, the final dishonorable mention goes to the Igloo Mansion. I was quite happy with the Ice Bank, which we got in Christmas, but we also got this Igloo Mansion. It just kind of looks like a heap of snow to me, but it's kind of cool-ish, so I didn't quite put it on the list. But it's really, it looks cool when the snow's there, but when the snow's gone, it honestly looks like it's just a heap of snow. I just think it looks really out of place. I'm okay with the Ice Bank. I think there's a way. The Ice Bank doesn't look as out of place, but the Igloo Mansion just really looks out of place when the snow's gone. Even if I put it on ice, it still looks ridiculous. So yeah, I put the Igloo Mansion there, but not quite make the list. But anyway, let's do my number 10. So the number 10 goes to Hellscape. So yeah, I think a lot of people might disagree with me here, but I wasn't a massive fan of Hellscape. Now, with the Devil character, I'm okay with him because I know there's been multiple versions of the Devil. We've obviously have the original Devil, who's like I guess they call the puberty Devil. He's my favorite, and he would be probably the one I want to see. And then there's Mod's Devil, the one that Mod's married to, and of course there's the Mo Devil, which is the one that we got in a minute. I would like to see them all in the game, or maybe a costume for the Mo's Devil. That would be kind of cool, actually. A costume that changes the look of him. That would be really interesting, actually, if they could do that. That would be a really cool costume. changes his look like entirely. But yeah, Hellscape, I just think this building wasn't particularly that great. I think it could have been way bigger. That's my major complaint. I think it just looks like a tiny little fire in the ground at the minute. It's not very overwhelming. I think for the price, I was expecting something much bigger. I was expecting like a Hell on Earth, which would have been really cool. But yeah, I just think it was a little underwhelming. It wasn't really too big, so I put it as number 10, which I think is fair. Number 9 goes to the Mega Playscape. So I'm going to be honest, a lot of these buildings are from the Battle Royale. A lot of these buildings on this list are from the Battle Royale event. So yeah, the Mega Playscape was one of the free bases that we got. It was the first one. And look, I think this one was the best out of the three. I still think it makes the worst list because I still hate them. But this is one of the little bases we got. It reminded me way too much of the the Clash of Crap update, as we'll call it. So yeah, the Mega Playscape. I think this one looks kind of cool. Like, I like the fact that it looks a little bit like a playground. I think this one is a lot easier to place and doesn't look as ugly. So I gave this one number 9 because I felt bad putting all three as like the top. I wasn't gonna put like all three as the top three, if you know what I mean. But yeah, overall, I think you can do some things. There are ways you can design this in the town. I've seen a lot of people put it in the make like a little playground with it. Which I think works really well. So yeah, I think there are ways to make this really work. So I give it that. It's workable. So it's not a terrible building, but I do think it's a little bit hard to decorate and it's kind of ugly. Number 8 goes to Slag Holes, which again is another Battle Royale event building. So yeah, this one I think it looks kind of menacing. I like the little skull thing with this, but the rest of it is just ugly. It's just horrible buildings that have been like clonked together, and it's just really horrible to look at. I really don't like the look of it whatsoever. Again, just comes down to ugliness. I just think it's ugly. So yeah, that's the Slag Hole. Number 7 goes to the refrigerator atrium, or something like that, with this big ass building. Again, really ugly building. I think I found this one particularly hard to place. I just placed it on its own little bit of land, covered it in road, and like hid it a little bit behind the building because I think it's just an ugly building. I'll be honest. I don't think I don't like it at all. Yeah. I mean, some people said it looked really cool. I just think it looks ugly. I'll be honest. So yeah, I put it as number 7. Number 6 is actually not a Battle Royale building. It goes to the old ruins. And the main reason I'm putting this here is, yeah, I really like the feature, but as a building, I hate it because it's incredibly difficult to decorate. I don't know what to start to decorate it. I just threw it there. We've already got one of these anyway, and that one to start with is pretty fucking hard to decorate itself. Excuse me for my French. But this, I just didn't want another one. Like, I was okay with them reusing the feature, but the fact that we got another big ass ancient dig site really annoyed me because I found the first one hard to decorate. So the fact that we got a second one and we have to decorate it, I'm just annoyed, really, and it really did annoy me that they couldn't come up with a new design. Like, I'm okay with them reusing the feature, that's cool, but I expect like a new design at least. So yeah, it looked too similar. It was too similar to something we've already got and hard to decorate. So that's why it's number 6. Number 5 goes to the Ruffian base, or sorry, Ruffian Fort. So yeah, another one of the free bases that you get at the start of each act of Battle Royale. I mean, look, it's another really ugly ass building. It's all like boarded up. You have like it's on like a mountain sort of thing, and it's all like boarded up. I just think they look just disgusting. They're horrible buildings to have, and they're the worst to decorate as well. So yeah, I've not really got much more to say. Otherwise, I'd just be repeating myself. So yeah, that's the Ruffian Fort. Number 4 goes to the Junk Base. By far the worst out of the 3 little bases that we get. Oh, this one. Oh, it's just, look at it. Look at it. It's ugly as hell. Like, it's just, I don't want to look at it anymore. So, you guys know my explanation for this, so there's no point me repeating it. Next one. What's the next one? Oh, it goes to the Scrap City. I wonder the reason that this is a bad building. Definitely the worst out of all the Battle Royale buildings. This is the last Battle Royale building on the list, don't you worry. Yes, this list has been mostly comprised of Battle Royale buildings, but this building is a literal pile of shit. So it's literally a pile of crap. So I thought it was fitting that it gets number 3 and the worst out of the Battle Royale buildings. So that's all I gotta say. It's not really. It's just an ugly building to have. Like, it's not like the city dump. Like, I'm fine with the city dump because it was like a part. You know, it's a big part of the Simpsons. This isn't. This isn't a big part of the Simpsons. This is an ugly ass building. So I've got nothing more to say. But number 2 goes to, surprisingly, the Lard Lad Factory. So the reason I put this as number 2 and not as number 1 is because it has one redeeming factor, in the fact that you could technically earn back the donuts that you spend, or the money that you spend on the donuts to get this. You could technically earn that back, probably in like 5 years. If you collected it. So it's still technically, like, it's a horrible deal, don't get me wrong. I hate it. It's almost £100. I think it is £100 for this item, which, don't get me wrong, I hate that. I think it's so despicable that they did it. But it does have one redeeming factor. Now, it doesn't, the building still gets the worst list, and it's primarily the price. The building as itself is really cool. Like, the look of it's cool, but the price, I cannot ignore it. When it comes to donuts, I'm okay, because with all like XP farms, players and the amount of hackers that are around, players can easily get donuts now. It's not hard at all. So when stuff's donuts, I'm not going to criticize it for being donuts, unless it's like a ridiculous price of donuts and it's not worth it. But with this, it was so overpriced and so unnecessary that it has to make the list. But the building as itself is cool. It earns donuts, which is awesome. So yeah. But anyway, number 1, can we have that drum roll? It of course goes to the Monstrum art. So yeah, the Monstrum art is number 1. The reason this is number 1, yes, it's not as expensive as the Lard Lad Donut Factory. It's not quite as expensive, but it's an ugly building. I don't think this is particularly great. It's definitely not worth the money that I would have to spend to get it. Not in the slightest. It's not the ugliest building in the game, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it's a little bit ugly and it's very expensive and it's not really, it just earns cash like any other building. The fact that those two things combined, to me, make it the worst building of this year. You know, Lard Lad Factory is a close second, very close second, but I like the fact that earns donuts, and I couldn't bear to put our first donut building as number 1, as the worst. So I put this one because I think that this one generally is terrible. And like, if I was to do a top 10 decorations list, which I'm not doing that because it'd be way too hard. Number 1 would definitely be that pile of shopping carts, because oh my god, that decoration was shit as well. But this building is just hot. Like, it's not terrible, but it's nothing special. It's pretty bland. It's pretty ugly. I just don't think it's very good. And like, the fact that it cost real life money and the way that EA did it with the whole Black Friday update, it was just so despicable. So it gets number 1. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, tell me your thoughts. I didn't actually put many Halloween buildings on this list. I think I only put 1. So yeah, don't worry, I don't just hate Halloween buildings. But yeah, that's the worst buildings of 2018 in my opinion. Please tell me your opinion, and yeah, I'll see you next one. Goodbye.